Let's take a look at this video from the Holistic Psychologist about some things you can do to activate your vagus nerve, which will elicit a parasympathetic nervous response. I first want to talk about the things that I really agree with, which is one is that, yes, parasympathetic nervous system arousal is really important. We want to live in parasympathetic nervous system state. We want to live in rest and digest, not fight or flight. Living in fight or flight, no good. A lot of people that have had trauma or have just been in chronic seasons of stress, are living in a state of chronic fight or flight, which is not really good. Not good at all. Leading predictor of premature death and disease, creates inflammation in the body, health problem, disrupts hormones, causes us to gain weight, not to mention what it does to our relationships and just the way we show up, the way we function in life, the way we perform at work, all of those things, not good. We don't want to live in a stress response. So here's the thing though, you really need to be aware of. There's so many hacks online, right? Release stress this way through somatic exercises, do these moves and get yourself out of a state of arousal. And so this is really great. If someone is like on the verge of having a panic attack, can't go to the store, those kinds of things, like, getting yourself out of that immediate threat. But here is the problem. Again, like I said, so many people are living in a state of chronic stress. And I don't know about you, but when I'm getting ready to go into a meeting, I don't want to have to put my face in a bucket of water or, do maneuvers with my head and all these things. I want to be able to walk in with confidence, right? And I want to live in a state of calm and rest and relaxation rather than constantly having to cope. There's nothing wrong if you are working on this and you want to use these strategies. They can be very helpful. There's many different ways to activate the vagus nerve, sunlight, humming, singing, different movements, stimulators, all kinds of things. But here's what you really need to know is that if living in a state of chronic stress is your norm and you're burnout, a lot of people won't say, I've had anxiety or I've had this. What they've had is they've been in constant go, go, go and over performance mode. Somewhere in their brain, high performance is linked to worth, is linked to safety, and they live in this go, go, go state, pushing down their emotions and just performing. And they don't even realize that they've lived in this state of chronic stress. To them, it's just type A, it's just go, it's just being productive. It's just resilience that they've grown up with. And then all of a sudden, their body starts having these reactions, right? And they think, maybe it's my hormones, or maybe I'm eating something bad. And really, their body does start showing the symptoms. So they get things like food sensitivities and all these things. And my husband practices functional medicine, so I'm not saying those things don't exist. He specializes in that kind of thing. What I am saying is that living in a state of high chronic stress creates inflammation in the nervous system. So you can treat health issues out the wazoo, and you can have a bucket load of coping strategies like this, like, moving your head in certain directions and putting your face in ice water and all the things. But if you're living in a state of chronic stress, what you really need to do is change the underlying template in the subconscious brain. So moving your head in a certain direction isn't going to fix something like, I have to be perfect all the time, or it's not okay to relax, or I can't say no to people, or I have to be perfect so I never get to a mark that I feel satisfied with because I have a really strong inner critic, So these kinds of things, these kinds of subconscious drivers that promote a state of chronic stress, chronic overwhelm, and burnout, these are the things that need to change so that someone can live in a state of relaxation, parasympathetic dominant. And that can be their norm rather than always having to just find something to come down from being triggered or stressed. That's not optimal living, in my opinion. So my name's Rochelle Walsh, and I've been a complex trauma therapist for many, many years. So I understand this stuff. I have a lot of extensive training in EMDR. I now help women in a coaching program, Joyful and Present, where we really rewire the nervous system. We really rewire the nervous system and those subconscious beliefs, and also have a lot of emotional regulation built in, because a lot of people just didn't have the templates for good emotional regulation, which is why they're living in this state of stress and why they're needing these maneuvers to be able to just function in life. That's not what we want. We want to go in and figure out, how do we rewire the nervous system so that our autonomic nervous system is firing different on a normal basis? And then what are those things we need to do to create in the emotional regulation system and in the subconscious programming, that stuff that you can't get to when you're in a state of alert? We need to make tweaks there so that people can live as a new way of being, not just constantly coping and coming down from a state of stress. So that's my 2 cents on it. If you want to understand more about the brain, the nervous system, how this all works, as well as my approach for breaking free, I have a masterclass link below. You can give it a listen and you'll definitely learn something new, and hopefully it'll give you a lot of hope that you don't need to live constantly coming down from a state of high stress. Hope it's helpful. Bye.